This week on Cana and Mike's Movie Night, we're looking at Independence Day Resurgence. Hello everybody, welcome to Cana and Mike's Movie Night. I'm Mike.
I'm Cana.
And this week we are looking at Independence Day Resurgence. Now, normally we of course have the Blu-ray or DVD here with us of whatever we're talking about, but this was a red box.
But it was not considered our freebie red box. That was wasted on, what was it, Central Intelligence?
Yeah.
Yeah, that one was wasted on Central Intelligence.
If we'd have gotten virtually any other movie, this would have been the wasted one.
Yeah. So just remember, sometimes our opinion is based on what other crappy movie we had already watched.
So I am infamous for a phrase which is how good or bad I coined it for video games, but it applies to movies. How good or bad a movie is directly proportionate to the amount of money you've spent on it. My usual case in point is the Jackie Chan movie, The Tuxedo. It's a horrible movie if you paid anywhere near full price for it.
Yeah.
I got it out of the bargain bin at Walmart for $3. It was great for $3. So
I saw it for free, and it was pretty good.
yeah, so there you go. Except for that whole, the name's Tong. James Tong. That line, when he got to it, I remember.
So unnecessary.
I actually remember pausing the movie and looking at the screen before he ever said it, and literally was like, "You better not do this."
And
then
he did it.
Then he did it.
It's like they don't listen to us.
Well, of course they don't. So, a little bit of a change, so to speak, real quick for Cana and Mike's Movie Night. We're going to make a slight assumption of you have a rough idea of what the plot of a movie is. We're not going to go into it in great detail.
Especially considering the fact it's already out on video. This is not something that you are going to possibly see in theaters unless it's a dollar movie theater, which I hear they still technically exist in places.
Those are like unicorns.
So they only go after virgins? Sorry!
Anyway, the basic plot of Independence Day Resurgence is simple. It's been 20 years. The aliens have come back because they want revenge. I mean, that's more or less the plot. Or
at least that's the plot they lead you to believe. It's later you find out, no, they were planning to come and do this shit to you anyways because they like to wipe out planets.
Yeah. The casting of the movie is largely the cast of the original Independence Day.
And then they kill them all.
Killing off the majority of them, and a sprinkling in of new cast members. Not the least of which I think is it Michael Jordan that plays Will Smith's kid?
I think so.
Okay. It's been a while, actually, since we watched this. And in full disclosure, we watched it about 3 weeks ago. But we're just now getting around to recording this because we've been busy. We've been
sick.
Yeah, well, that too. Could have been the movie's fault. So
you know what? It did start 3 weeks ago. I'm going to blame Central Intelligence with a side of Independence Day Resurgence.
So this one is for our dear friend Martin Phillips. It's visually stunning. Which is code for hello cat. Which is code for if that's the best thing you've got to say about it. And that really is the best thing I can say about Independence Day Resurgence. What did you think of the cast of this film?
Well, it's good to see that Chris Hemsworth's brother, Liam actually can get work on a sci-fi.
I thought Judd Hirsch was dead.
I was a little surprised. It's nice that Brett Spiner can still get work.
His character was dead.
But came back.
His character was dead. Which brings us to...
they're trying to tell you that he was actually in a coma for 20 years, and then he comes back.
Dead.
Coma for 20 years. I mean, let's be honest, baby. In the Middle Ages, they thought people who had seizures were possessed by demons, and that the reason that you had graveyard workers was because they accidentally buried people in comas, and they would wake up. So, no, maybe we just misunderstood the first movie, and he was in a coma for 20 years.
The man was dead.
20-year coma.
Dead. His character was as dead as Data in the Star Trek films. So,
but Data wasn't alive. He was an android. That doesn't count.
He was dead too. So here is the long and short. My thought process. I thought the casting was fine. What do you think of the actual plot and the story and the writing?
What plot? It was like, oh, we need money. Let's do this. Let's put a sequel. And I think the fact that, A, they were literally trying to kill off the original cast. Oh, Jeff Goldblum did survive.
Yeah, and so did Judd Hirsch.
Yes. So the one that we thought was and Brett Spiner's character survived too. So the people that we thought were dead stayed alive. And of course, everybody's cheering that Jeff Goldblum survived because he did not survive Jurassic Park. The
special effects in the movie are outstanding. It is.
They are wonderfully stunning.
It is a very pretty movie. The soundtrack is not bad.
I don't really remember the soundtrack, which tells me that it was unremarkable.
Which means it wasn't bad. Here's the thing about music in a movie. If it's good, you remember it. If it's terrible, you remember it. If it wasn't bad, you kind of forget it was there. And so, it wasn't so bad I noticed it. I'll put it that way. I didn't like it. I have the first Independence Day. We have it over on our shelf, right over here off screen. You guys can't see it. But we have it.
And we like it.
We like it. We'll probably go back and watch it to cleanse the palate at some point. Will Smith was off making the movie we'll talk about next week instead of making this one.
And that might have been the wisest decision of his career.
It probably was. Well, not the wisest decision of his career, but certainly a wise decision in his career. I'm pretty sure the wisest decision of his career was Wild Wild West. So, it's a joke. But the bottom line is the writing in this movie is terrible.
Among other things.
That's my takeaway. The writing is god-awful. The only characters you actually give a damn about in this movie are the ones from the first movie. So, any character that survived the original Independence Day, or in the case of Brent Spiner, is obviously a zombie brought back to life by alien technology. Any of these characters, you have some semblance of caring about. You don't give a damn about them if they didn't come from the first movie.
Well, and I think that's because we actually had a build-up to get to know them better. Mm-hmm. We are suddenly being introduced to two people who are supposed to be the children from the first movie, who are not. And we're supposed to go, okay, well, we knew them 20 years ago, but we don't know them as adults, so it doesn't really quite matter. We don't know their struggles or anything like that. And then you've got the fact that you have all these new people that you didn't meet, like a female president, and you've got this woman who seems to be Jeff Goldblum's love interest, sort of, kind of, don't know. That we don't know who she is. I don't care if she dies. And they give us no reason to care about these characters that are supposed to be the new leads, the new storyline for this movie. And I'm just kind of like, are they going to die? Who's the red shirts? Are they the red shirts? I want them to be the red shirts. Die, die, die.
That's pretty much the gist of it. I cared more about the chick from Saved by the Bell, the college years, that was the hippie that died on the rooftop in the first movie, than I do anyone in this one.
Yeah, but that's because she was cute looking and she, actually seemed to have a character.
Yeah. So the bottom line, folks, like I said, as far as the bad, there's heaps of it, and you can put most of it on the writers and to a point the direction, because the director has a lot of influence over that. He could have, I'm sure, sat there and go, no, we need to flesh this out a little more.
We need to make the people like these people. Yeah. I don't like them. I don't care.
Now, what I did like, Judd Hirsch. who I thought was dead.
Which seems to be the ongoing thing. It's amazing how many people we see in movies and we're like, I thought they were dead. Like, we thought Dick Van Dyke was dead for Night in the Museum.
Yeah, I thought Dick Van Dyke had passed away too, and then suddenly he's in Night at the
And
Museum.
then Alan Alda from the Tower Heist.
Well, no, I knew Alan Alda wasn't dead.
I thought he was dead.
She thought he was dead.
He was dead.
Tower Heist is a fun movie. We may talk about that one day. I like that movie.
But we have a tendency to go,
Matthew Broderick, well, his career is dead. But, you know, anyway, he was in the Tower Heist. So,
burn.
Well, I've seen the 1998 Godzilla. So
has probably, unfortunately, a lot of people.
Iguana! So, Judd Hirsch, his subplot, his little B story in the movie was the most fun.
The most interesting. I love that. I wanted to get to know those kids more.
Yes.
I mean, oh my gosh, let me just tell you, Judd Hirsch driving a bus full of kids. Not what I was expecting, but let me tell you, it was the most entertaining part of the movie for me.
Old Jewish rabbi gets on a bus with a bunch of adolescent secular kids. Here we go, folks. This sounds like the setup of a wonderful movie.
Or a joke.
Yeah, that too. But, you know, here it is. That was a fun moment and plot. And you actually cared about what happened to the kids because of the way they treated Judd Hirsch, for one. And you see him care, and he has importance, and it makes you care and have importance with the kids. Jeff Goldblum. You care about Jeff Goldblum because it's Jeff Goldblum. And you see his character, you know his character. And
because you're still envisioning him from Jurassic Park.
Well, no, I'm still envisioning him I hated Jurassic Park. I'm still envisioning him from the first Independence Day.
Oh no, there was something about Jeff Goldblum from Jurassic Park with his little button-down shirt, kind of, yeah.
I hated the book, too. Then...
Everyone has their own opinion.
Jurassic World I enjoyed.
I know! Dinosaur Cowboy.
Yes.
Did we review that one here?
No, we didn't.
We should so do that.
One day we will. We'll have to rewatch it. And then... and I cannot remember the old president's name, but the president from the first movie. I hate to...
Bill... His real name is what? Bill... something.
Bill Pullman?
Pullman! There we go!
Bill Pullman's character is fantastic. And
then they kill him.
And they do kill him. But he gets the heroic death, which befits him. You thought that was going to happen to his character in the first movie, but they gave that moment to Randy Quaid. But it fits, and you care because of the cachet built up from the first film. So all the characters that came back, except for Brent Spiner, who's dead in this movie,
He's not dead.
the doctor,
He's in a
is
coma.
dead.
Coma!
Did you watch the first movie?
I watched the first movie.
That dude is deader than a doornail.
They put him in a coma, obviously. This was a medically induced coma to try and save his life, and that's why he showed up in the second movie.
Two things. One, dude's deader than a doornail. And two, the first movie, I'm fairly certain he was heterosexual.
Yeah, he was so not heterosexual in this one.
In this movie, they make him homosexual. Now, for the record, I could care less about someone's preference, whether you are heterosexual, homosexual, asexual, pansexual, transsexual, bisexual. There are other sexuals out there that I'm leaving out. There's just a whole lot of them. No problem with any of the above. But there's nothing in the first movie
to make you think that.
To indicate this.
Unless the 20-year coma turned him.
And he's been unconscious for 20 years. He's been dead for 20 years. It took that long for the alien nanites to kick in. And so he wakes up and he's very obviously homosexual. Now, for the record, his character could have been homosexual in the first movie. They don't give you any indication one way or the other. My problem with it is in this movie, they kind of beat you over the head with the gay stick to tell you that he is homosexual. That's when I have a problem with it.
That wasn't meant to be such a bad joke, but thank you.
But that's when I actually have a problem with it.
It's not like with Star Trek Beyond, which was a very tasteful way.
Yes.
Where they were like, oh.
It's a fundamental change. If you watch Star Trek Beyond, and we applauded Star Trek Beyond for this point,
yes,
a fundamental change in the character of Hikaru Sulu is Hikaru Sulu in the main Star Trek universe is heterosexual, but we discover in Beyond that the character is played by John Cho is homosexual. And it was very tastefully done. It was handled in such a way that you knew it. It was obvious, but it was also...
you understood
correct.
The background. And if you weren't, or if you were totally against someone living that lifestyle, and you did not know about it, you wouldn't have known the difference of whether it was a homosexual relationship or a brotherly relationship.
Well, one of these two movies treated it as a normal facet of human life. Two adults, regardless of gender, who are in love with one another. The other one treated it as a bit of a spectacle, as in it informed the character to the point it defined him. Whereas Sulu, it does not.
Well, it just goes to show something like what you have, what you feel, does not necessarily make you. It does not mean that I'm going to go off on a little something. Soapbox. Tangent. It's just like saying, you are a homosexual, or you are saying, my name is so-and-so, and I love this person who is the same gender. It should not be a definition of who you are. It is just something about you.
To use an example that we recently heard, you can either say you are a diabetic or you are a person with diabetes. One of these is something that is a part of you. The other one is defining you. If you are diabetic, then you are saying that is what defines you. If you say, I am a person with diabetes, then that means that you are a person with diabetes. It is part of what makes you who you are, but it does not define you. And it's a similar scenario here with the way the movie treats it in this instance. So, like I said, they make it very blatant. Now, I will say this. They don't make it uncomfortable. They don't do anything like that, but it seems terribly unnecessary.
It's beating a dead horse.
Yeah. So, which is kind of ironic when you think about the movie. So, because the movie was beating a dead franchise. Yeah. So, my final thoughts on the flick. It was fun for $1.50. But that's
$1.26.
See,
I had a coupon.
It just became 24 cents better. But
would we actually own it?
Yeah,
no.
It's a fun movie. It's not going to wind up on our shelf because you don't care. You watch it because it is very much like the Michael Bay Transformers movies. Except not as pretty. You're watching it for the spectacle. You're not watching it because it's an engrossing story. And they've done nothing to make you care about that story or the characters or the world that they inhabit. So it is a failure in regards to being something that carries on from the first Independence Day. Your final thoughts?
We are never going to own this movie. I don't care what kind of a completionist you are. It's not worth it, even if we paid $3 for it.
We just paid $3 for Dylan Dog.
Which I still am questioning.
But we're not spending $3 on this, because Dylan Dog was at least entertaining. And we'll talk about that one day later, too. So,
I think Dylan Dog would have been a good purchase if it was free. But that was your $3.
That's not technically a purchase if it's free. So, you guys know the drill. Cell phones up or cell phones down.
My cell phone was up the majority of it because I could care less, but it was down for all Judd Hirsch's scenes because it's Judd Hirsch.
So is it a half cell phone up?
No, it's a cell phone up except for Judd Hirsch. Then it's down.
So we're going to call that a half cell phone up. And I'm pretty much the same way. It was a half cell phone up for me. So, yeah, this one is one cell phone up. It's not that good, folks. It really isn't. So,
get a free coupon.
Yeah, if you can see it for free, shoot, go for it. If not, eh. So, one thing you guys may have noticed through the course of this is my wife is crocheting over here.
Yes, crocheting, not knitting.
And one thing that we want to do here, hello, Morgan. One thing that I do want to put out here, and this has nothing to do with Cana and Mike's movie night or the ECS network or anything like that. This is something that's actually Cana and Mike related more than it is related to our network. We're trying to adopt. We're wanting to grow our family, and this is the way we've chosen to do it, is through adoption. We feel very strongly and very much called to it. And my wife here will crochet for adoption money. Hence the phrase, "will crochet for adoption," which appears on a Facebook page that my wife runs. So if you are out there and you feel so inclined, maybe you need a blanket or a scarf, or her current specialty are the messy bun beanies, then please feel free to go over to Facebook and look for Will Crochet for Adoption. I think hashtag Will Crochet for Adoption. You will eventually find it. The hashtag Finding Our Crayons. There'll be a link somewhere in the notes down below, or on screen, one or the other, to perhaps pick something up like this for a loved one or for yourself. They come in lots of colors, very obviously.
Yeah, I'm working on this one in this color because this is going to be for me personally, because though the colors don't really show up really that well.
They'll show up pretty good.
It's a rainbow. Because since our theme is finding our crayons, I could not think of anything better than this almost Crayola crayon box throw-up color yarn for just wearing whenever I wear my crayon t-shirt.
Which you may see on a future episode here. But if you feel so inclined, go check that out. And of course, we would also love for you to support the ECS network as well. You can do that by going over to our store, cafepress.com/ECS network. If you want to help with our adoption, that's cafepress.com/thebrowns-adopt. Anything for the adoption is going to help us raise money for our adoption process. It is not a cheap process. Anything you do for the ECS network goes to the network. It doesn't line anybody's pockets. We need lots of new stuff for the network as well. cafepress.com/ECS network. And of course, we want you to check us out on Twitter and on Instagram at ECS Network on Instagram and at ECS Podcasts on Twitter. So check us out in all those various places. Until next time, when we will be checking out the movie Will Smith did to dodge Independence Day, I'm Mike.
Good job. And I'm Cana.
And we'll see you next time on Cana and Mike's Movie Night.